All right, guys, thank you for joining me today, or this morning rather. So appreciate it as normal. So, with that, guys, I want to answer JD's question. Why would we have a food shortage when we still have farmers? Well, a lot of farms are also being bought out as well. So farms are being bought out as well. Farms are having crop problems, meaning they can't grow the crops that they need, and they can't grow the abundance of crops they need. To boot, we also have a fertilizer issue that's going on right now, and a lot of farmers are being priced out of um, farms. Sorry, being priced out of buying fertilizer. Sorry. So with that, yeah, guys, if it's buffering, give it a second. I had to connect everything or reconnect everything over again. So give the internet a second, and it should be on my end. Give it the internet a second, and it'll be fine. Anyway, with that, guys, that's pretty much the. We are from Australia, so if you're from Australia, I don't know what your problem is out there, other than the pig problem that they're having. But here in the United States, we have that problem, and we also thank you, Jane. We also have drought issues as well. So we have a multitude of issues that are just compiling on top of one another, and it seems like there's no relief. And like I said last night on the Angry Prepper channel, I said we have a food crisis that's on its way or on its way, and with that, there's no solution. There should be a solution, but there isn't. And you would think at the very least, politicians somewhere in this country would be like, "Oh, we're working on a plan," but there's no talk of that either. All they keep saying is that there's a food shortage coming. It's going to get real, but there's no solution. If there's no solution, that means it's going to get that bad, right? So it's something to consider, especially with this current administration, being that they either A, gave up, don't give a fuck, however you want to look at it. And I personally think they don't give a shit, but whatever. And someone is responsible for the fertilizer. Yeah, well, JD, definitely someone's responsible for the fertilizer shortage. We have yet to have huge issues with a food crisis. So JD says, Australia, we have yet to have a problem with a food crisis. So what's going on, Prepper 101? So with that, guys, let's get to the you know Wednesday morning midweek report. Now we're gonna start out with the obvious. I know some of you might not care, but whatever. Dave Chappelle, I think it was last night, was attacked, or rather tackled. And I like how they don't say attacked when he was attacked. They say tackled, right? It depends on who's involved in the incident is whether the verbiage will change from attack to tackled. Regardless, he was someone attacked him on stage. Some weirdo ran up to him and rushed him. The suspect was then, soon after, tackled by or beat up by Dave Chappelle's security and personnel that was there on the stage, and they beat the balls off this dude, and they beat him to a point where they broke his arm. So you'll see video of the guy coming out of the arena, right, and his arm is angled in such a way. It looks like his shoulder was broken, actually, or dislocated, rather, sorry. So anyway, that was that. Jamie Foxx also helped, but I'm not sure what capacity. It seemed like he rushed the stage as well, but it's unclear what capacity he helped out Dave Chappelle, right? So whatever. Dave Chappelle joked it off, but I'm pretty sure when he woke up this morning, he was fucking pissed. Because, again, a lot of people, it stems to the whole, well, not listen, even before the whole Will Smith, people in the audience at comedy clubs were rushing the stage and or attacking comedians for doing what they do, making jokes. And people are very sensitive these days. So you again, if you're in a comedy club and you're sitting up front and you got some kind of fucking shirt on or loud color, you're gonna be made fun of. But people don't like it. With that being said, a lot of people are definitely acting up or acting out. Now, the societal collapse, guys, of our current society is definitely in motion. I won't say it's in full swing. We haven't hit full swing yet. And I think when we do hit full swing, it's going to get fucking astronomically ugly. With that, it's we're seeing this kind of behavior more and more. And I would say we saw this behavior more and more before COVID. So even before this bullshit pandemic, we were seeing the decline of society. So whatever, I think we're gonna start seeing more of these kind of things, and then comedians or people on stage are probably not gonna perform. I mean, it'll be a while before it gets to that point. But yeah, it's uh, it's gonna get there to a point. JD says I don't like comedy. And listen, if you don't like comedy, I find that strange when people say they don't like comedy. If you don't like laughing and feeling better, then I don't know. Like there's something to be said about that. Dawn Wells said he deserved to be injured. Why did he deserve to be in? Oh, the perp, you mean? Yes, because Chappelle wasn't injured. The guy just tackled him, and Chappelle shrugged it off. The guy did. Yes, the guy got a you should see his arm. It's all fucked up. But whatever. A bunch of green hair people freaking out. Yeah, Douglas Howard. So yeah, I wasn't gonna touch on the whole. Actually, I'm touching on the possible Roe versus Wade overturn because I'm talking about today. Talking about the protesting guys are in full swing across the nation. Across the nation. I mean, I've never seen protesting develop so fast. Now, yes, when somebody was innocently shot, and some kind of police brutality, people assembled pretty fast. But this Roe versus Wade protesting assembled faster. I mean, people were at the Supreme Court in D.C. that night. The night it got leaked, guys, they were there within hours of this thing being leaked. And like my wife said, it's pretty much everybody who's from the Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. area that converged on the White House. Sorry, Supreme Court. Keep in mind, there was nobody in the Supreme Court when they were fucking screaming at this building like assholes. I don't understand people screaming at buildings. I really don't. I don't like. Oh, she says I like comedy as long as it's not sexual harassment. All right, I guess. Right. So with that, guys, protesting has broke out across America due to the draft of a possible overturn of Roe versus Wade. So again, this draft that came out is not even overturning Roe versus Wade. It's just to talk about it and trying to get the other justices to. It's actually a draft to bring it to the other justices so that they can have this discussion and vote on it. I don't know, and the guy made some valid points in that draft. So I could see the justices looking at this and going, overturning it. Because, listen, he made some good points about it not being a constitutional. There's nothing constitutional about an abortion. Zero. There's nothing in the Constitution about abortion. Zero. So that being said, guys, this has to go back to the state at state levels. Now, some people are going to find it unfair, but you can't use the Constitution and hide behind it for everything. Bad enough, guys, they're restricting this, they're stripping the Second Amendment, and that's in the Constitution. So you mean to tell me in 1973, when they made their final decision with Roe versus Wade, they used the Constitution to bring Roe versus Wade to an affirmation, I guess, or a judgment in its favor, right? So now they're looking back on it and saying not so. Now, this came from one of the justices. Let me find where he was talking about it. Let's see, abortion. All right, so this is one part. The court said it's returning the issue back to the states to make their own decision. The draft opinion, guys, keep in mind, it's an opinion. The draft opinion said that in order for the Constitution to protect abortion, has to be a right deeply rooted in our history and tradition, right? And in fact, actually, standing or rather pro-life is deeply rooted in our tradition and American way of life, not abortion, right? So that's what they were talking about, or what the court said in the opinion draft. Again, it was also an opinion. It wasn't an ironclad ruling, but yet liberals heard something else and flipped out and protesting across the nation. As of right now, guys, the draft. Right now, this is just a draft, and nothing has been decided or brought to the other justices over for this vote. Sorry. So this is not even into the voting stage. It's just a draft of an opinion of a justice or two of them, rather. Sorry. So anyway, this might be the catalyst for bigger civil unrest in this nation. This is such a touchy subject, guys, and people are probably going to get hurt over this. Again, we are seeing protesting throughout the country, like we've never seen, and it's going to get worse. And now you're going to give people more time to mobilize, if you will. I would say by the weekend we're going to see some shit all over this country. Obviously, if I do a live stream from one of these protests, it will be on the Angry Truth channel, this channel, not the Angry Prepper channel, unless it turns into civil unrest. Then, if it turns into civil unrest, then I'll live stream it from the Angry Prepper. But as of right now, anything involving these protests will be in the Angry Truth channel. While that is all true, this is being used as a distraction. The question is, could it be? So, Nadi, if I said your name right, distraction, no. Part of the plan to destroy or divide the country even more, yes. This is definitely going to divide the country more. We're definitely going to see more violence out of this. Interestingly enough, pro-lifers are for life. If they get involved to a capacity where it turns violent, that is kind of counterproductive, if you ask me. But again, it's such a touchy subject because everybody has their own stance on this. Like, my stance is abortion should be used for medical emergencies, rape, incest, and maybe even financial woes. I'll even go that far, but up to a certain point. I mean, 3 weeks is too goddamn soon. Even 6 weeks is too soon. But 10 to 12 weeks, that's about right for someone to make their decision. At some point, you should know that you're pregnant. There are those who don't know, but then if you miss that window, then you miss that window, right? Then you have the kid and you give them up for adoption if you're really hard up for it. I don't think that it should be ironclad where 3 weeks or no abortion. Like, listen. And I hate to say this, an abortion to some point, guys, is a luxury for some people. Some people use it as a form of birth control. There are people out there who, want to use it to, again, oh man, I got pregnant again for the third time this year. I got to have another abortion. That's bullshit. But using it for, like I said, emergencies, fine, I mean, listen, I think that a lot of people, even financial situations, can deal with it because look at how many poor people have kids. So, if you use it for financial woes, then you better have some financial woes. I mean, some serious ones. If you have 8 kids already and you don't want number 9, okay. Yeah, Jamie, so I looked up the whole California month after birth, what you call it. There is nothing that I found. And even in their legislation, and the legislations they were writing for late-term abortion, there's nothing about 30 days or 28 days after birth. I don't know where the hell that came from, and I don't know why that's gathering so much momentum. But even after all the research I've done, I have yet to see anything that is saying such, other than people saying it. People are saying, all over Twitter and shit, but I haven't seen anything concrete, right? And granted, I would believe I could see them doing some shit like this, but I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen any proof of it, rather. Sorry. With that, guys, the one side of me is starting to think that maybe what Jamie was saying, yet further, I'm in Silicon Valley. Yes, Jamie, I vetted it all day yesterday. I have yet to see any proof of it. Though I wouldn't be surprised if they brought it up after this thing with Roe versus Wade goes through. If it goes through, I could see them coming up with something like that. But after the child is out of the womb, it's not considered a fetus anymore. And I know that some people were trying to push the storyline or the narrative that a baby out of a womb is still a fetus until like a certain amount of days. Like whatever bullshit that means. But could they push it? Yeah. But after, again, all the research I've done, I've yet to see any concrete evidence of California pushing for such a thing. If someone has proof of this or some kind of legislation or anything that was written by a politician, please do me a favor. Email me at angrytruth77@gmail.com, and I will entertain it. But as of right now, all day yesterday, I was looking it up, and I couldn't find the fucking thing. So I'm trying to figure out where did this rumor start, you know? Listen, it's the way society is today. I don't know. Um, I don't know if I don't know where things would go. You know, I don't know how bad this is going to get. But society right now is breaking up. Yeah, Jamie, the adverse proof of vaccine was found before it was released. Actually, the CDC and the FDA had meetings well before they released the proof of the adverse reactions. So those are online, and you were able to find those reactions. I can't find anything on this. You know, but anyway, that being said, that's a different story altogether. Thank you, Blue Vandal, for putting it up there. With that being said, guys, we're gonna move right along. Lake Mead murder mystery. Now, I find this one very interesting. Lake Mead had a barrel that was broken up, didn't surface, but because Lake Mead water is evaporating or disappearing, a barrel was uncovered or revealed because the water was receding. And in the barrel was a human body. And the human body was obviously decomposed. And according to the clothing on his body, they think that this person has been in that water for 50 years. Now, um, with, sorry, someone put AB 2223 bill. Yes, and even in that bill, I did not see anything about late term or rather infanticide, if you will. I haven't seen anything about it. So, with this body being found, guys, a cop, if I'm not mistaken, the detective says that more bodies will be discovered if the water keeps receding in Lake Mead. Because I think, I didn't know this, I had no clue. I mean, listen, any body of water is a dumping ground for bodies. That's without a doubt. But to say that you're going to find more bodies in there means that it was an absolute dumping ground. Now, the Hudson River, for example, if this Hudson River was to dry out for whatever reason, the Hudson River was to dry out, you're gonna find fucking Jimmy Hoffa in there, right? And a ton of cars with bodies in them, and so on and so forth. But Lake Mead is if I'm not mistaken, Lake Mead is like a travel location, no? So, yeah, people are gonna say, was it Jimmy Hoffa? Imagine if it was. Imagine if that was. Now, the body, the decomposed body in the barrel was shot. They know that much. But that's it. To identify this person is probably going to be next to impossible. Again, 50 years in the water. And unless they go back 50 years and look at missing people and missing males, they might get to narrow it down. But I don't know. So anyway, Lake Mead, guys, is the largest reservoir in the U.S., providing water to some 25 million people. The water, as we all know, guys, is evaporating, it's disappearing, right? So it's going to present a problem because when you look at the water line in Lake Mead, you're like, holy shit. It looks like at least 3 stories of water has disappeared. I mean, judging from the water line, you know. Again, that's that's another problem on its own. And obviously there's nothing that can be done with it because they're not coming up with any solutions for it because they don't want to. But there will be more bodies popping up, they think, the more this water starts receding. There's nobody left to be found. Yeah, listen, I think Jimmy Hoffa will eventually be found. His skeleton will be found. Whether it's by aliens or us, he'll be found eventually. But the fact that he was put somewhere that they'll not... Listen, he could have very well been shot and buried close by to where he was killed. He could be right in that area, but this is so much land they might not find him. Hell, they might find him in Washington State. That is, you know, what I mean, like bodies are starting to pop up all over the place, guys. Also because there's a lot of erosion of land, so body parts are starting to be found sticking out of the ground, and people are being found that way as well in certain spots in the United States, right? So how does water suddenly evaporate? Climate change, JD. It's not suddenly evaporating. It's evaporating over time. You know, but it's not like just, you know, you're waking up in the morning like, oh my God, you know, the water fucking dropped 3 feet. It's not like that. Never look back. They say he's under concrete, but then there was one person that said he wasn't even what was it, Giant Stadium, the old Giant Stadium, if you will. They said that he was there, but they said he's not there. They looked through the entire place, and they did that X-ray thing where you can snap radiation into the ground or concrete and find like skeletal remains. He wasn't found anywhere near Giant Stadium, so that one went up in smokes. So listen, he might not even be in the fucking New Jersey, New York area. Like I said, he could be in PA somewhere. He could be in Connecticut. He could be anywhere where they will not fucking find him. But eventually, if this erosion comes up, they might find him. They might not. Who knows? But at this point, it doesn't matter if they find him. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, if they find him, then what? They're gonna put his remains in a museum? It doesn't fucking. It's done. What he did was done, and where he is now is probably fucking way better than being here at this point. The Irishman, he was burned, no evidence. The Irishman, he was burned, no evidence. Okay. With that, guys, moving right along. Now, this one, I guess it's not scare tactics. It's Putin losing his mind even more. I don't know. But Putin is planning an all-out war on Ukraine. So Putin will be making a major announcement in a few days. They think he's going to make this announcement May 9th, which is their Victory Day. It's an annual ceremony, something to do with World War II, or their involvement in World War II, sorry. So Putin says he'll be making a major move that will intensify the Ukraine war. This should be coming in 5 days. According to our media source and a few, Putin's not winning. He's not winning the war as fast as he would like. Not to say he's not winning it at all. He's just not winning it as fast, and he wants faster results. And Putin has always wanted faster results for everything. So it's not just the Ukraine that he wants, faster results. Or he wanted faster results with everything in life, I think. With that, guys, the intensification of this war could move to deadlier use of weapons, tactical nukes or chemical weapons. You choose. Being that he's looking for faster results, I think that's how he would go about it. Debbie Sims, he does have cancer. We don't know what kind of cancer. I mean, listen, if it kills him, so be it. But yeah, for him to do surgery, an emergency surgery too, during all of this means whatever he has going on is pretty fucking bad. Again, and if it's bad and it takes him out, so fucking be it. Not gonna fucking cry a river over him. But guys, an intent at the move that he's talking about making, the mobilization you're gonna hear that he's talking about making. No, fast results isn't good. JD, that you're right. A fast result's not good. You want to be methodical about your results. Now, I'm not siding with Russia, but if you're going to attack a country, you want to be methodical about it and make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's and fucking have everything covered. Rushing in headstrong is what they pretty much did. Is why they ran into the complications they ran into in the beginning. I know that they made advancements, but they ran into a lot of complications because they went in too goddamn fast. And why do you think he fired his generals? They went in too fast, and his generals weren't producing the results he wanted in a certain amount of time. Again, this is probably why he's been so fidgety and nervous lately. It's probably has to do with his illness, and probably has to do with him not getting the results he wanted. Now, a lot of the talk about him being sick in the last few weeks, people were like, "Oh, that's media propaganda." Well, guess what? Now he's in surgery. So was it media propaganda? Right, guys? When the Russian media, state media, said he wasn't sick and there was nothing wrong with him, how did they go from there was nothing wrong with him to him having surgery? Yeah, and it's, if I'm not mistaken, guys, it's not the vice president. He left somebody else in charge, an ex-police chief, Russian police chief. I don't think it was his vice president. I don't even know if they have vice president. I really don't know how their political structure is. But I missed it. Who had? Yes, Beaverine. Putin is having surgery or had surgery. I don't know if it went down. But nonetheless, guys, the lie again with mainstream media was, a lot of the Russian sympathizers were saying mainstream media was lying about his health. Well, they were lying about his health. Why is he in surgery? Or why is he getting surgery? Or had? I don't know what state it's in. Right? And state media, the Russian media, to the Russian sympathizers, Americans who sympathize with Russia and believe state media like assholes, they said the same thing. There was nothing wrong with him. He's not sick. Well, then why the fuck is he getting fucking surgery? Davey, yes, brain tumors do make people behave weirdly, but there are other cancers that do that too because it sends chemical disruptions to the brain or chemically disrupts the brain and has them act weird as well. That's why it's up in the air as to what he had. Someone said prostate surgery. I don't think it would be that. I don't think it would have been that simple. Prostate surgery, right? Unless Angela, unless he was taking meds, which were also disrupting the way he thinks. There is that too. There are medications out there that do, you know, there are medications that do fuck with the brain. So yeah, there is that. There is that to contend with. But wow, to be. But whatever, guys. Maybe yes. Someone said he's getting a face transplant, a facelift. Maybe he's getting a tummy tuck. Who knows? But nonetheless, getting surgery at this stage of the game. What's going on? To me, is strange. He's having prostate surgery for sure. Again, Angela, if you could find me information on that, I'll entertain it. I don't know what kind of surgery it is. Again, whatever state media says, I take that shit with a grain of salt. If they're saying he's having prostate surgery, yeah, I think it's a little more serious than that. Prostate surgery is serious. Prostate cancer is serious, but I think it's a little more than that. Again, his erratic behavior in the last couple of months makes no sense. From a guy who's been stoic to fidgety, eyes darting around, is weird. Yes, angrytruth77@gmail.com. Get ready. Putin is not going to forgive death of 29,000 Russian soldiers. Well, maybe, Tommy M, he shouldn't have taken his 29,000 soldiers and threw them into the Ukraine war. I don't know. The death of those soldiers are on him. He made that decision. He told his troops to go ahead. They went in, they died. That was on them. CR, maybe Putin is getting a sex change. Maybe he's transgender. Wouldn't that be some shit? That would be fucking holy shit. Imagine he came out and his name was fucking, Sarah now. Like, holy shit. Nanoparticles taking effects. Listen, Jamie, I was thinking the arm ticket. I was absolutely thinking that. I was like, I don't know, man. What if the shot is getting to him? Because again, we're seeing a lot of erratic behavior from people we know personally that are now acting strange after getting an arm ticket. But that's a different discussion for another day. Rogue General will launch nukes. He will go back in charge and have him. It says it wasn't him. Uncle Charlie, that would make some sense. That makes some sense. Putin is setting this up. Putin is setting us. He's setting up the world. He wants to go after the world. He is, according to the article I read this morning, guys, about Putin going to all-out war. He is looking to denazify the world, whatever the fuck that means. He is looking at the world as his enemy. That is irrational thinking, right? So again, guys, something's up with him. Something is very wrong with him, and we shall see. Now, being that he's going into surgery, this would be the perfect time for him not to wake up again. But I can all but guarantee the security around him in the hospital and the fucking 8-mile radius around the hospital is probably high. Especially now with everything going on. Especially also that you have Russian generals that might be looking to take him out. Because he fired, what was it, 12 of them or 13 of them because he didn't like his results? One of those generals that are still in the mix could be fucking, turncoat, could fucking turn against him. Who knows? But this is just all very, very weird. Right, so now Zelensky just said that Russia is following the concept of Geobels with Nazism claim. And I just said that. This just came out. This breaking news just came out. And I read an article saying that Putin is talking about wanting to get rid of Nazism. Right, around the world. Keep in mind, Russia has their own Nazi fucking regiment and party in Russia. So it's a little strange. If he didn't take these people away, he didn't put them away in his own country, but he's making the excuse to go and raid other countries for Nazism, it's bullshit. For the doggies guitar, yes, I heard about Dave Chappelle. I talked about that earlier in the live stream. So, guys, moving right along, we're going to talk about North Korea testing its nuke yesterday or 2 days ago. North Korea launched a ballistic missile towards its eastern waters on Wednesday. That was earlier. I guess it's yesterday for them or earlier today. I don't know. Whatever. It was today, Wednesday, but I guess it was earlier Wednesday for them. Late for us. Whatever. So, South Korea and Japan officials said days after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un vowed to speed up development of his nuclear weapons at the fastest possible pace and threatened to use them against his rivals. Again, another fucking psychopath looking to use nuclear weapons against the world. Just because. Surprise attacks around Europe. Yeah, Tommy M. I think that might happen. We might see surprise attacks all over what you call the world. All over Europe. Sorry. Do you think New World Order will take place? JD, there's two New World Orders now. There's the New World Order that the Great Reset or Klaus Schwab is running, and then there's the New World Order that China and Russia just made a pact to do. So they're battling it out right now. We're stuck in the middle. Why is North Korea wasting its nukes? So, JD, North Korea is not wasting its nukes. They tested a ballistic missile without nukes on board. So they do these tests, guys, without the nukes inside the missile. They don't put a warhead on it. They just test fire the missile to see what it can do and how far it goes. It traveled, if I'm not mistaken, 850 kilometers, and then I guess it splashed down. But that was their test. It called North Korea's, I think Japan and China. No, I'm sorry. Wrong. Reading the wrong spot. Right. So it called North Korea's repeated ballistic missile launches a grave threat. This is South Korea and Japan saying this at the same time. That would undermine international peace and security in violation of the UN Security Council's resolution banning any ballistic launch by the North. So obviously, the UN stated that North Korea shouldn't and can't launch any missiles, but they're doing it anyway, and there's probably going to be no repercussions. Because why? Why would there be any repercussions? Where did North Korea get this? They got it from China and or Russia. I think they got it from China, Tommy M. I think they got their capabilities from China. Right? I don't know if North Korea. I don't know if Russia has that close of dealings with them, but they definitely got it from China. They say Kim eventually aims to use his expanded arsenal to win an international recognition of North Korea as a nuclear state, and that he believes would help force the United States to relax international economic sanctions on North Korea. So again, he thinks by having a nuke, the United States is going to be like, oh man, you guys got nuke, you guys are badass too, we're going to welcome you into the fold. Not happening. Again, more psych patients, guys. You got North Korea and Russia president psych patients. These guys, I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. China is playing it safe right now. China's playing it super safe and super quiet, if you ask me. During the speech at the parade, Kim said he would develop his arsenal at the fastest pace and warned that the North would preemptively use nuclear weapons if its national interests are threatened. That is a loaded comment. You would use a nuclear weapon if your national interests are threatened. Their national interests are threatened, all the time, being at the sanctions. They could look at sanctions as a national threat. So they could look at sanctions as a national threat. If the U.S. doesn't lift those sanctions or the UN doesn't lift those sanctions, then they're going to threaten to lob nukes at whoever. Don't know who. It's probably going to be, I would say they would probably lob it at South Korea first, but who knows? Rapture ready. That's the crazy thing. Russia is posturing. I think they're posturing hard. The United States is crumbling, and I know that everybody around the world is looking at the U.S. and going, "What the fuck is going on in that country?" Look, even our adversaries, right? They'll be like, "What the fuck what are they doing over there?" Fucking Russia is trying to ponder why the hell we're collapsing so hard. Why are we entertaining a genderless military, right? They want people in the military, guys, to actually go by the pronouns they and we and us. and I think this is in the Army. I don't think the Marines have adopted this yet. I don't think. I think the Air Force has. I don't know about the Navy. And I'm pretty sure, without batting an eyelash, the Coast Guards are going with this genderless bullshit. This is how you weaken the military, when you start entertaining this. So you mean to tell me we should be training our troops to fight, but instead we're training our troops how to treat transgender people and genderless people? This is the military that we have now because of the psych patients that are fucking running this country. I've never in a million years would have thought we would focus our military to attack those who don't know how to identify gender or genderless people. Yet, Russia, Ukraine, China are fully training their troops all the time. And I mean training. Guys, they're actively training their troops to fight. This is why they're picking these skirmishes throughout the fucking world. You had China and India go through a skirmish a year or two ago. That's training your troops. Russia throwing their fucking troops into these fucking battles, that's training your troops. We pick fucking fights that we can absolutely win. You know? Again, I guess we learned our lesson from Vietnam, so we go, oh, let's go after Iraq. They're an easy target, but that's not really training your troops when you're beating up on a bunch of retards. Afghanistan was probably a real fight because those guys, the Afghanis, they know how to fight. Maybe that was training. But then again, we had a hands-off approach in Afghanistan. Only fire until you fire upon, and don't fire unless you can see its subject. Like the rules of engagement changed and weakened the military. And someone said, John Graves says the military morale is low. I keep hearing that. I'm not in the military. I'm not a military guy. But I've heard for the last couple of years that military morale is low. Why is it low? Well, because they're browbeating us with the bullshit and not training the men to fucking fight. And then you're going to have people who don't want to fight when it comes time to fight. You're going to have a lot of deserters, man. You know, so I don't know. Where we're going with this? Who fucking knows? But all I know is that North Korea and their fast-paced development of nuclear arms is bad. Putin planning an all-out attack on fucking the Ukraine, not good. And JD, that's my point. Why are we concerned with transgenders and genderless soldiers when we have World War III on the horizon? You know, I don't understand that. Like, I mean, the shit's fucking, it's on. The shit is fucking on. And here we are fucking talking about, hey, you must address that sergeant as they. Imagine. See, listen, the transgender sensitivity training says it all in the military. Oil drillings, no shit. Again, why? Why, and why are generals fucking even questioning? Like, they'd be like, yo, we're not doing this. We got fucking the threat of a nuclear attack, and we're worried about what fucking Tommy is today. Tommy is now going to be Sarah, and we have to identify him as she. Like, why the fuck are we? First of all, take all those people, get them out of the military. ASAP. That's what I would do. You left me as a military general. I'm like, we're not entertaining this bullshit. You want to fight for this country? You fight for this country. We're not going to entertain your fucking genderless bullshit. And if you're transgender, you better pick a fucking role. You better put a gun in your hand and run down the goddamn field, or you better fucking put a computer, sit at a computer desk and type away. That's it. We're not going to sit here and discuss how to treat you. You either fucking play your position or you're out. That's it. We're not going to sit here and entertain any of the bullshit when we have real fucking problems on the horizon. Real problems. I can care less about a genderless dude. Right now, guys, even transgenders, they are picking a sex. They're either pretending to be female or pretending to be male. But they're picking a sex and they're picking a role. The genderless people, they're the problem. Because now they're like, well, I want to be put with the females in the female barracks. What? So, again, guys, entertaining psych patients in the military is a huge fucking problem. Because when the American Medical Association, whatever it was, says that gender dysphoria is not a psychological problem, now the military had to open the doors to it not being a psychological problem. Now that it's not a psychological problem, you're like, well, what do we do with these people? Oh, we have to play along with them. No, get them the fuck out. Get them the fuck out. Seriously, there's no room for people who today are a girl, tomorrow they're a boy, the next day they're genderless. No fucking room for that. That has to go. That is psychological fucking issues. Sorry. Again, gender dysphoria with transgender, is it a psychological issue? I guess it is to a point. But even with them, they still pick a role. Even the guys the women who are pretending to be guys, even they're putting a rifle in their hand and ready to fight. But they're picking their position. Again, I don't. We're worried about the wrong things. That shit should be. You know what? It should never even be entertained. I hate to say, oh, we should table it for another time. No, do not entertain it, because war is on the horizon, and war will always be on the horizon. At least with this country, we should be fucking focused on getting our men and women ready to fight, and not ready to throw down with the right verbiage they're going to use with that person who's today switching genders, right? But yeah, guys, sorry for going on that long fucking winded rant, but we're fucking, again, we're up shit's creek and we're worried about fucking what was the proper thing to say. Whatever. Anyway, guys, with that, ran over the time. I told you this was usually going to be a half hour long, but it went over, so I do apologize for that. All right. Other than that, also, guys, societal breakdown. I touched on it earlier today. Listen, man, I don't know, but reading about a lot of the shit that's going on, there's something wrong. The societal breakdown again, guys. I wish we can contribute it to the arm ticket, but we can't. We started seeing this years ago, and it's sort of moving right along in the wrong direction, and people are getting worse. The behavioral of people, the criminal activities that we're seeing are getting exponentially worse. A 14-year old raped a grown woman after he was trying to stab the child of that woman. What the fuck? This is getting bad, right? So there's a societal breakdown, and I don't know where the fuck to go with that. Like how, moral decline. Yeah, Jane. It's just getting worse. It's getting way out of control. And something's in the air, something's in the food, something's in the water, but this just doesn't make any sense. Not at least the shit that we're seeing. And what we're seeing is pretty bad. Anyway, guys, with that, I am going to go off the air for real. Thank you for joining me this morning. I do appreciate it. And I will catch you guys tonight. I'm on with Vancity Prepper, if I'm not mistaken. She's interviewing a bunch of us. It's a roundtable discussion on Vancity Prepper's YouTube channel. So I'll see you guys there tonight. I think it's at 10 our time, my time, Eastern time. I think it's 9 her time, or vice versa. Yes, 9 her time, 10 my time. Yes, if I'm not mistaken. But you can go on her channel and check that out. And other than that, my next live stream will be tomorrow. So it looks like I'm doing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, back to back. Like I said, my wife doesn't want me doing Fridays anymore. Well, anyway, other than that, guys, see you guys tonight on Vancity Preppers. And if not, I'll see you tomorrow on the Angry Prepper, Angry Truth doubleheader.